Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Open Mike Podcast. The Open Mike Podcast is unofficially brought to you by Liquid Death. Liquid Death, murder your thirst with Liquid Death flavored tea. Murder your thirst, tell your thirst to rest in peach. Rest in peach. Rest in peach flavored iced tea by Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. Run to the store, get some. Only 19 milligrams of caffeine, all natural ingredients, no sugar, sweetened with agave and stevia extract. It's delicious, man. I'm telling y'all. And as hot as it's been, we need something to quench our thirst. We need something to murder our thirst. Liquid Death, unofficial sponsor of the Open Mic Podcast. And yeah, man, I was busy. I was on vacation last week. I haven't talked to anyone. Haven't been very active on social media. So yeah, man, I've been busy. Um, so I hope everybody had a wonderful fourth. I don't think I've haven't been on since the fourth. Um, so I hope everybody kept their fingers and their hands and everybody stayed safe uh, for the 4th of July, and hope everybody stayed safe for the fourth and enjoyed the fourth and enjoyed all the time and cooked out and ate plenty of food. But I'm probably gonna sound like a boomer, as the kids say. But I live in a town, right? I don't live out in the country, and so um, the town puts on a 4th of July celebration. They light off fireworks, do all that, and I do my own thing. But in the neighborhood I live in, people are shooting like Roman candles up into the air, and they're loud, and the dog gets all amped up, and whatever, right? People want to celebrate and want to have fun. It only comes once a year, and I get all that. The problem I have with that, and I'm going to probably sound like some old angry white guy, like the keep off my grass guy, but it doesn't only happen on the 4th. Now, this year was kind of tame because I know in years past, it would be basically the whole month of July. The week leading up to the 4th, after the 4th, people shooting off fireworks every day. And it's not at 8 or 9 o'clock. It gets dark around 9. This stuff went on till midnight. So the other night, they're lighting off fire. They're literally out in the middle of the street shooting these Roman candles up into the air. And it's, 10, 11, 12. This went on until like 1 in the morning. And then the next day, it happened again. It's like, trying to sleep. And my dog gets, kind of anxious when he hears all that stuff. And it's like, everybody's like, man, just, everybody's trying to have fun. And that's fine, man. But you can have fun, but don't have fun at the expense of everybody else around you, right? Let's have a little bit of let's have a little bit of respect, right? So, but people are going to do what they do, and honestly, right now, society, I feel like people only worry about themselves, right? And I know a lot of people say, "Well, I'm going to look out for number one. I'm going to only look out for myself," right? And that's yes, generally speaking, you have to look out for you because you can't think other people are going to look out for you, right? I get that. But I just don't think people can think outside their own bubble. Like the world don't revolve around you to have some consideration for other people. And so um I don't know, man. Like I stop to let people cross the street and nobody waves or says anything, and you hold the door for somebody and nobody says thank you or even, and man, I don't know why that grinds my gears. That annoys me so much that it's because it literally takes 2 seconds to just say, "Hey, thanks for holding the door," or "Hey, buddy, thank you for letting me cross the street." Like uh, give me an old head nod or something. I don't get nothing. And it's like, come on, man. Like, what happened to just being respectful and just thoughtful, right? Like, because people don't hold doors for nobody no more, and people don't let people cross the street. And it doesn't matter, man, if you're old, if you got a kid with you, if you're walking a dog, it does not matter. People only worry about themselves and they only see tunnel vision, right? They see this, right? They don't care about nothing else around them. And maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe people just like to keep to themselves, so maybe they feel like, that's what they're doing. I don't know. I really don't know. So, but anyway, we're back. We're podcasting, and like I said, I was on vacation last week. It was staycation. We went a few places, and, you know, uh, but I, worked on stuff around the house. Stuff needed to be done, and so this past week, uh, my mom had never been to a Bucky's. And if anybody's, I don't know any of my listeners out there has ever been to a Bucky's, but they built a Bucky's that's about an hour and a half from where I live. Um, and in this state, we didn't have a Bucky's. And so Bucky's are big in Texas and the southern kind of corridor from Texas up, uh, Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and but Bucky's was founded in Texas. That's like where the most of them are. And I've, been on trips from here to Texas and back. And I've, stopped along all the Bucky's along the way. Not all of them, but enough to kind of know what Bucky's is about. But anyway, this has been a big deal. This has been a huge deal that this Bucky's opened here. And I mean, people have been taking trips and going for rides and so my mom never been to a Bucky's, and she kept hearing about it. And so they literally have a Facebook group for this Bucky's store that opened, and she'd been following it and going on there. And people were saying, it took 45 minutes to get in and out of the parking lot. There was a line. I'm sure this is the first day it opened. They were busy, and they opened around the 4th. But Bucky's is like it's spelled BUC-EES, and so they have a beaver as a mascot, and it's like a giant. You don't want to call it a gas station because the Texans will get on you, but it is a giant gas station. It's like a travel center to me, not like a truck stop, kind of in between a regular gas station, convenience store, and a travel center and a truck stop. But it's not a truck stop, and but they have a lot of gas pumps, right? I mean, it's huge, and then they make barbecue and they make food, and everything in there is labeled Bucky's, right? Like not everything, like they do have different brand of like chips and stuff, and but majority of the stuff in there that's sold, whether it's candy or whatever, it's Bucky's, and then they got Bucky's clothes, and they got they it's kind of like a you can walk in there and buy stuff. Reminds me of Cracker Barrel. Like when you walk into a Cracker Barrel and you got that little like shop that you walk into, and it's like a memorabilia shop or whatever, like a country store. Think of that as a convenient gas station, but it's the size of um it's big. I put it like that. It's a big place. But every one I've been in has always been busy, right? So everybody's like, this one, is busy. And I'm like, well, what is busy, right? Because every one I've gone into has always been pretty active, right? Like you can park up front or you can find park spot. But when this place first opened, man, people were complaining they couldn't find parking spots. Everybody hate the food. And I don't know. I don't know if people had their expectations set like up here, like going into this, thinking it was going to be like life changing. And then when they get there and they're like, well, this is kind of average, lower your expectations because at the end of the day, you're going to a gas station that sells barbecue. And I've talked about gas station food multiple times, but I will say their barbecue is pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty good barbecue, but maybe I have low expectations of bar. It doesn't take much when it comes to barbecue, and maybe I was really hungry the times I've eaten. Anyway, I decided we was going to take a trip to Bucky's, and so we did, and we got there around lunchtime, busy time, and it was busy. and I got gas when I was there at pump 208. So anybody's never been, this gives you an idea. I was at pump 208. Now this one doesn't have a car wash. I thought all the new ones are having car washes. This one does not. Um, which was kind of surprised. Maybe they're still building it. I don't know. But it's a sight to see, and it's cool, right? Like we took a family trip, made a day kind of trip out of it, and we took pictures, and I spent way more money than what I intended on spending, but we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Um, but my mom said she's gonna go back with one of my nieces. They're gonna make a trip, and they want to go when it's not as crowded because I think mom was scared to kind of leave my side that she'd get lost. And it's not that the store is so damn big you're gonna get lost, but it was so many people. It's easy to kind of lose sight of somebody. Even though we had cell phones, she could have just called me on the phone. But anyway, we made a trip to Bucky's and had a good day. And so anybody that's never been to a Bucky's, if you got one that's close by, if it's within driving distance, I would suggest going there just to say you went so you can kind of experience it and see what it's all about, see what all the hype is. Some people are like it's overhyped. Some people don't think it's hyped enough. I've read comments. I've read that someone drove like 12 hours just to go this bar. I'm not driving 12 hours to go to a Bucky's. I can tell you that. I'm not going to drive 12 hours to go see too many things of anything unless it's like a vacation or we're going to the beach. I mean, 12 hours. If I left here and drove 12 hours, I'd be in Florida. So I'm not driving 12 hours just to go to a Bucky's. I mean, you'd have to be obsessed with Bucky's at that point, which maybe this person is. Maybe they collect shirts from every Bucky store that's out there. I don't know, but this, I call cap. Cap. Yeah, that's a new language of the chillins these days. Man, you capping, man. No cap. You capping. Capping means you're lying. No cap means you're not lying. For those of you out there listening that do not know this or not up to speed with the language of the I don't know what they call what is this generation? What are they called right now? I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up either. But so yeah, I don't know. Everybody was shooting off fireworks way too damn late and took a trip to Bucky's and just been living, man, living, working. Like I said, I was on vacation, took some time off, and back at work this week. And so yeah, man, just hope everybody's been having a good summer so far, and anybody's got kids or whatever. I hope y'all took some time, went on vacation, went and saw some things, and went to the beach or whatever your thing is. Go fishing, go boating, go hiking. Whatever your thing is, man, I hope you've taken the time to do that, spend time with family, um, cook out. I love to, I don't cook out as much as I like to. I love cooking out. It's just, probably shouldn't eat burgers and hot dogs all the time on the grill. I do like chicken, but I eat chicken so much any other time. The last thing I want to do is grill it on the grill when I'm doing a cookout. So usually cookout, I like to have burgers and fries. So, and hot dogs and macaroni salad and pasta salad and potato salad and all the stuff that keeps me from having a six pack. I used to joke with people back in the day. It's like, man, as much as I work out, as healthy as I eat, which I did eat really healthy back then, it's like, man, I'd have a six pack, but because the potato salad exists, I don't. And that's why I don't have a six pack. That probably wasn't the only reason why, but when I was hitting it, man, like hitting the gym hard and dieting, I still never had. Now my body fat percentage was probably still 20, and I don't know why, man. I ate good and worked out. Um, don't know. I think genetics plays a factor. Sometimes some people don't agree with that, but I definitely think genetics plays a role in a lot of those things. I mean, genetics plays a role in how we live. Like our genes, that we get from our parents, you know, tell us what we look like. So why would genetics not play a role in, how we look, if we work out and eat good and do all the stuff we're supposed to do? And genetics absolutely plays a role in that. Some people have better genetics than others. That's just a fact, man. Anybody tries to argue with that, they're just arguing with science, I guess. That's just a fact. But um, yeah, man, just kind of chugging on along here. Um, Work's been busy. It's hot. It's July, so we still have the rest of this month and the month of August for summer, and then man, a lot of flash floods lately, and that's kind of like everywhere. Like that. Man, we've had some torrential rains here, but that recently that flash flood in Texas at that summer girls camp, and you know, I can't remember. It's like 13, 14 kids lost their life. Could you imagine like getting that phone call, man? Like, as a parent, I think as a parent, we all live with these fears and anxieties, right? Of, you know, that's just part of adult being a parent, right? Like you have these things when your child's not with you, or whatever. This anxiety is fear, like it heightens, and so um you're just like, is my kid safe, is my kid okay? And like, how do you how do you combat that, right? Like, so you always kind of know, well, if you have a fear of anxiety is like a checks and balances, right? Your anxiety is heightened to tell you this could go wrong. What are you going to do to balance that out, to let yourself know, hey, anxiety, you're not taking over, right? So that's hard. That's a hard thing to work with. And I've gone to therapy, and still go to therapy, and I work on that type of stuff. But I just can't imagine, man, just getting a phone call that your kid passed away or they're lost, right? Like, a lot of these kids got swept down and took them days to recover the bodies. I don't even know if they recovered all of them yet or not. And then just to get that phone call that your child is gone, like they lost their life. We don't know where they are. We can't find their body. They got swept away. And there's been so much negativity, like so many negative comments about it. Why didn't y'all get out? You were warned, but like flash flood, man, you don't get a lot of time to react. And suppose it was late at night, and they're at a camp, so they're probably not getting these notifications. They may have even been somewhere where there wasn't really signal for that type of stuff, or whatever. I think I did read that it came through overnight, early morning, late overnight or early morning, and they just laying in their sleeping bag in their tent sleeping, and next thing you know, you don't wake up. You're gone. And it just baffles me, man, when I read about tragedies like this online and people make jokes, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Or what, like, have some class, like some people are like, oh, is it too soon? Is it like, everything doesn't have to be a joke, man? Like, let's have some compassion for once. And it's like, well, they shouldn't have been out there. And then, I've just read so much crap, and it's like, damn, man, like, why is society like this? We're so cold. And it's especially really bad on the internet. And I used to always say, like, oh, everybody's a keyboard warrior because you can't get punched in the mouth. I think Mike Tyson made a comment like, but I've always said that. Like, yeah, it's easy for somebody to get online and run their mouths and say this and that and the other because I can't reach through the screen and grab you by your neck. Like this. It's like, come on, man. So much fake negativity on social media and the internet. And I don't know what people do to protect their children, their kids from that stuff. I had some friends, one of them is a teacher, and they told me a story one time about their daughter felt left out in school because at lunch or whatever, all the kids and all the girls, all the kids her daughter their daughter hung out with, everybody at lunch is on a cell phone. They all got cell phones. She was the only kid that didn't have a cell phone. So it's like she gets ridiculed and kind of made fun of, and it's like you walk in. It's like when I was a kid in school, man. You walk in the cafeteria, it was loud. It was like you was in a rock concert. It was so loud because everybody's talking, everybody's communicating, laughing, playing. And now you walk into lunches in schools and everybody's on a cell phone. There's quiet as a damn. You can hear a pin drop. So I remember they were telling me their daughter, kind of felt left out or wasn't popular or whatever because she didn't have a cell phone in school. Um, and it's like, how do you know? Like, how do you, man, as a parent, those that are parents that listen to the podcast, I'm curious for you to share any stories or like how you handle those things. Open Mike Podcast 76 at Outlook.com. Like, what do you do when situations like that come up? Like, how do you handle those situations? How do you handle the peer pressures that come with your child as they become a teenager and you got cell phones and social media and all that stuff? Like, how do you deal with that? Because at some point I will have to deal with that. And so like I've even read a story one time that they talk about kids that had committed suicide, and I guess the girl had went on was trying to go to this party, and her friends were like, oh no, we're not going to go, and I use the term friend lightly here. We're not going to such and such's house. We're going to just kind of stay home this way. And they were lying to the girl, right, because they didn't want her coming along. And then she looks on social media and sees all these posts, and they were at this girl's house or this party having fun, and she didn't get invited. And it happened, and the girl ended up taking her own life. Um, and how do you? It's another fear is being a parent. How do you, like, how do you deal with that, right? Like, how do we deal with those things? And I have other friends that have kids, and they've gone through things, and the parents have told me, they would get up multiple times throughout the night to go check on their child to make sure that they didn't, commit suicide or and I just can't imagine living with that fear. And when your kids get old enough to drive, are you going to set them free? Or are you going to make them wait? Are you going to make them earn it? Like, driving is a privilege. It's not a right. You can lose it, but you got to earn it. So I don't know, man. How do you? I got flash flood watch right now. How do you how do you as parents out there, how do you guys deal with that? How do you, I mean, I guess you teach your children, hope you give them the the right tools and the sense and the knowledge to make the right decisions. But we all make mistakes, we all make bad decisions, and we have to know that our children are going to do the same. They're going to make bad decisions, and that's okay. You just hope that one bad decision isn't the last bad decision or the last decision they make. And so we have to, we have to educate our kids, and we have to be involved. I'm a big believer about being involved. You never stop being a parent and be involved. And, you know, you want your kids to be able to come and talk to you about things and be very open with you, right? At least that's how I want to parent. That's how the type of parent I want to be. I want to have that communication to where the child can come, your kid can come to you and they can be open with you. And a lot of people are like, they don't believe in parenting that way. They believe in, spankings and verbal abuse, I guess. So, and then that's not funny. I'm just saying, like, it just amazes me that people actually think that the world would be a better place if everybody got their ass beat by their mom or dad when they were kids. It's not true. And I feel bad for people who think that, and I feel bad for the people who think that, and that if they have children, and that's how they think, because that's not. I don't want. I wouldn't want my child to be scared of me I want my child to respect me. I don't want my child to have fear, because if they do, they're not going to come to you about anything. And people aren't probably going to agree with me on that. I want my kid to be scared of me. No, I want them to. It's a fear, but it's a respectful fear. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, they're not afraid of me because I beat the shit out of them. They're afraid because it's a respectful thing, and I don't want that. That's not how I want to be. So, um, but yeah, man. Any parents that listen, if you guys want to share your thoughts on that and let me know what you think, and um, I'm always like, there's no handbook of being a parent. I talk about this, and so anybody that's gone through it and they did some trial and error, and some things worked, some things didn't, I would really like people to share that with the podcast. Open Mike Podcast 76 at outlook.com. Email the show, and maybe it'll get read online on air. And if you don't want to read, then just send a little side note with the email, just sharing thoughts, but don't want to share it with everybody. And I won't. I'll keep it to myself. But anyway, changing gears a little bit here. Um, we're gonna do this segment where we're gonna read some weird and interesting news headlines. What's up with that? 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 So let's find some weird and odd news headlines from this week. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Here's one. This is kind of weird to me, but maybe this is where the world's going right now. China's robot soccer team getting more buzz than their human counterparts. So I guess China, who's never been known as a soccer powerhouse, but this China's men's soccer team has generated much excitement in recent years. Humanoid robot teams have won over the fans in Beijing based more on the AI technology involved than any athletic prowess shown. So they created 4 teams of robots that faced off in an autonomous 3-on-3 soccer match powered entirely by AI. This was in Saturday night in China's capital. The first in China, and a preview for upcoming World Humanoid Robot Games set to take place in Beijing. Yeah, this is odd. That's probably pretty cool though, really. Like, what's up with that? I'd go out there and watch a bunch of robots. I don't know, man. I've seen iRobot with Will Smith, great movie. But I've seen what happens when we have all these robots with some AI. However, those robots were also like programmed by someone to to be the way they were. Says they're equipped with advanced visual sensors. The robots were able to identify the ball and navigate the field with agility. Man, I gotta find a video on this. They were also designed to stand up on their own after falling. However, during the match, several still had to be carried off the field on stretchers. Adding to the realism of the experience. these damn robots had to be carried off in stretchers. Oh man, that's funny. Oh no, that's funny as hell. I just picture that in my head. He carrying a bunch of robots. I wonder how much those things weigh. Booster Robotics, company that supplied the robot players at sports competitions, offer the ideal testing ground for humanoid robots, helping to accelerate the development of both algorithms and integrated hardware software systems. In the future, we may arrange for robots to play football with humans. What the hell, man? Ain't nobody. That means we must ensure the robots are completely safe. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go out there and that's crazy. I don't know. They could be calling football soccer there because most countries call football soccer. We're the only country that calls it football, and it's actually a completely different game. A robot and a human could play in a match where winning doesn't matter, but real offensive and defensive interaction takes place. That would help audiences build trust and understand the robots are safe. Yeah, too many people watch our robot, man. They don't trust this crap, and I honestly I don't either. So, um, yeah, that's definitely interesting. Let's find some more. What we got here? Let's go back to here. No, I don't like that one. Let's see. Here we go. Police find man caught in a crazy scenario after Connecticut burglary call. Police find man trapped in a crazy scenario. The rescuers estimated cause damage that park officials hope to never happen again. Chimney doors automatically locked for the night. Police were called Sunday morning, Rockwood Park, Bristol, for a burglary complaint. Were told by park employees that someone was in the chimney. Firefighters responded to the scene, got the man out, had to remove parts of the chimney in the building, causing $5,000 to $10,000 worth of damage. So, how I this doesn't make any sense. It was a Parks and Rec building. How did the man's dog get in the Park and Rec building? Parks building while trying to retrieve the dog from a bathroom. The door is automatically locked for the night. So how did the dog get in there? And then that just doesn't make any sense. The guy was arrested and charged with burglary, trespassing, and criminal mischief. He was released on bond, order appear in court. July 7th. The message seeking comment sent to an email address listed in public record for the man. Phone number listed but not in service. Online records not indicated. Listed lawyer for him. The doors automatically lock at 10 p.m. every night. This man got stuck in the chimney and got arrested. I don't know how his dog got in there. I don't know how the dog ran in and he wasn't able to run out, but whatever. It's not clear how the dog got stuck in the bathroom or how the man was in the chimney. Doors can be open from the inside after they're locked at night. The dog was unharmed. It's a bit crazy scenario. Our park staff is working with the police department and fire department to make sure it doesn't happen again. Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but what's up with that, man? That's crazy. Let's read. I can't talk. Let's read one more. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, went too far. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. Y'all know about that. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hungry elephant raids grocery store in Thailand for snacks. Man, that's my type of elephant right there. That's known as Plai Biang Leek. I know I butchered that. Briefly stopping in front of the shop located next to a main road near, not going to pronounce that, some national park in northeastern Thailand before ducking his whole body inside. The elephant stopped in front of the shop's counter, calmly snatching and chomping snacks, and did not flinch as the national park workers tried to shoo him away. The elephant later backed out of the shop, still holding a bag of snacks with his trunk. He left little damage behind except mud tracks on the floor and the ceiling of the shop. How in the world you get mud tracks on the ceiling? In a video posted on social media, the shop owner appeared amused as she described the moment the elephant rifled her shop. She said he ate about 9 bags of sweet rice crackers, sandwiches, and some dry bananas she had bought that morning. The elephant left without hurting anyone after getting his snacks. Volunteer park worker familiar with the elephant said Plai Biang Leek, who is about 30 years old, is a familiar sight in and around, has been known to enter people's houses in search for food. This was the first time he'd seen him going into a store. After he left shop, he went on to open the bedroom window of another house. He told the Associated Press, my man was hungry. He had the munchies. But anyway, that concludes this week's segment of What's Up With That? What's Up With That? Hope everybody enjoys those kooky, goofy email segments. But if you don't, that's fine too. So recently I don't know. Let me backtrack a little bit. So I've been working on my truck this week, and I had gotten a roll of vinyl wrap. People wrap cars, and I don't know if y'all have seen this, but it's usually cheaper than paint. Like, so if you want to change the look of your vehicle, you can get it vinyl wrapped, and it's supposed to be cheaper than paint. Even though right now, like places that wrap vehicles, it's very expensive. But anyway, I had some. I'm always bartering, right? I have car parts and all types of collectibles, memorabilia, and I'm always trading and selling, doing stuff. Anyway, this guy wanted a set of wheels I had for sale, and he didn't want to pay me what I was paying. But anyway, I don't whether he had the money or not. But anyway, he traded me this roll of vinyl wrap, which is expensive wrap, and cash on top for the wheels. So I'm like, yeah, I'll wrap my truck. I've never wrapped anything before. I did try to wrap a roof of one of my cars like a long time ago, and it did not go well. But I also bought some cheap wrap online. And they say like the cheaper wraps are very thick and they're hard to work with. So that's probably was the case here. But anyway, I was like, you know what? I'll wrap my truck. Don't like it, I just take it off. And no harm, no foul. So this last few days I've been working on that, and I've learned a lot, right? Like trial and error. And I talked to some people who've also wrapped, vehicles. They gave me some pointers. But every vehicle is different. So it's like, but you have to learn like how to use the wrap, when to use the heat gun, like how to maneuver the wrap around. I think my problem was I was very cautious with the wrap because I felt like you're gonna tear it, you're gonna rip it, whatever. And once you get more comfortable with knowing like how the wrap works, how much you can pull, and that you can do this, that, and the other, you kind of feel like as I watch these videos, these guys wrapping cars, I'm like, man, they don't care, but they've been doing it and they're comfortable with it. So by the time I did a couple panels and then kind of went around the other side, I got more and more comfortable with it. And I had I had a buddy of mine that came down yesterday and gave me a hand, and that definitely helps to have an extra hand there to, when you got to glass it, stretch it, and pull it out, and all that. But it's been a kind of a cool little experience, and definitely learning. And now I see why shops charge what they charge to install this stuff, because it is not easy. It takes a ton of patience. Um, but it's been a learning experience. And if anybody asks me would I ever do it, hell no, I'll never do it. I'm not doing it on the side. I'm not doing it for a discounted rate. What shops charge is what they charge, and I see why they charge what they charge. And it's not easy. It's difficult, and it's I can see where it would get easier the more you did it, but I'm not going to do it enough to. I don't want to do it for anyone. If someone wants me to lend a hand and help them out, I have to know you pretty well to give you a hand. So throat dry. Oh, my throat's so dry. Man, you ever wake up and you're like the other night I woke up, man, my eyes were irritated for some reason. I felt like it had like scratched, like somehow got scratched in my sleep. I don't know. But man, it was red and it was blurry and it was irritating. I was like, man, what in the world? And then I woke up the next morning and it was kind of gone. Like this had happened like in the middle of the night. So I don't know if anybody's ever done that. Maybe I scratched it by, mistake somehow sleeping. I don't know. Um, but yeah, Vinyl wrapping the truck, it's been an experience. It's like color flips, so it goes from like green to blue to purple. It's a cool looking color. It's just it has some flaws, right? And I may go back and redo some of the areas that had some issues. And now that I've messed with it a little bit, kind of got an idea how this stuff lays and how it works. Maybe I'll go back and mess with it a little bit more. But it's been a cool experience, man. I had one of my cars wrapped years ago. I had a show car, and I got it wrapped. It was like like every year for my birthday, I'd always reward myself, and I would get a tattoo or whatever. I'd order a video game or a set of wheels for my car, whatever. Right. And this one year, I said, I'm gonna get my car wrapped. And I called around, and got some quotes. Like, man, these are so expensive. And I called this shop, and the guy said he actually had some wrap that a client had ordered and didn't like it. So he's like, I can do this for a discounted price. And then when I took it to him, he's like, I got this purple wrap here too. It was called a Russian Riptide, and it was a chameleon color. It was cool as hell. And he said that'll go better, because your interior is purple. So I had him do it, and it was very cheap. And when I went there to pick the car up, the guy that was like basically, ringing me up or whatever, he's like, man, this has got to be a tie. He ended up calling the guy, the owner, because I went directly through the owner of the company and said, to confirm the price was right. And the guy's like, man, he gave you one hell of a. Basically, it cost me material. That was it. Like I didn't. So, but he had explained to me my car at the time. They had some cars that were shop cars, and they had wrapped them, so he was very familiar with those cars. And mine had like a body kit and stuff on it, which I did not tell him at the time. So he said technically I should have probably charged a little more, but very nice guy. The shop was called Otuko. If anybody's ever, looking to have some rap done, Autuko, Otuko, I think is how it was pronounced, how it was spelled. Very good shop, very professional. The job they did was great. No complaints, and I would highly recommend them. So they do a lot of vinyl. He told me he had started pinstriping cars when he was young, when he was in his 20s, going to dealerships back when they did like real pinstriping, not like a vinyl sticker or whatever. And but then he got into doing vinyl pinstriping and all, and that's kind of how he got into. He started doing cars. Like they've been like people have been vinyl wrapping vehicles, like work vehicles, for years. For like advertisement or whatever. So that's how the guy got into business. So he'd been doing it for a very long time. So I thought it was it's a good choice, and he did a great job, man. They did a phenomenal job, and I don't think I'd ever get that deal again. So, um, but yeah, man, anybody out there struggling, if you got whatever going on, man, it'll get better, I promise. And there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and I know a lot of people are struggling right now, and it's life is hard, man. Life is hard, and but anything worth having is not easy. Anything worth having, anything worth achieving, anything going through, the reward at the end, you got to work for it. Ain't nobody's gonna just give you anything. So life is tough. Life's a garden. You gotta dig it, like Joe Dierte said. Um, but I think it's time for probably my favorite segment and everybody else's favorite segment. As at least what I'm told. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Open Mike Mailbag. Mail call.
You've got mail.
Oh, let's take a look here. Let's see what we got email wise. Um, Here we go. This is some criticism. Not everyone thinks you're a hero. Truth Hurts 88. Bro, not gonna lie, your podcast feels like therapy for you, not the audience. Every episode's a monologue about your life, like you're the only one who's ever had problems. We get it. You're a single dad. So are a million other people. Try adding more variety, or maybe bringing guests who aren't just there to stroke your ego. Yeah, I don't feel like I have ever brought in guests. I've had one guy's been on a couple times. Trigo has been active lately. I need to check in on my man, make sure he's good. But he definitely did not come on the show and stroke my ego. So um, every episode's a monologue about my life. Yeah, it's my life. Who else's life am I going to talk about? It's my podcast. Uh, but hey, Truth Hurts 88. I appreciate you listening to the show, giving it a chance, and keep listening, man. It gets better, but I appreciate. Don't forget to
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe. Truth Hurts 88. Appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate you emailing the show. Let's go. Tina from Roanoke. Swear I'm not crazy, just dating again. Mike, can we please talk about how dating after 30 feels like going to a thrift store hoping to find something decent in a pile of broken junk? One guy asked if I wanted to meet his dog and then said the dog was his mom. I think I need a nap. Love the show, though. It's the only thing that makes me feel sane after Bumble, whatever the hell Bumble is. Tina from Roanoke. I appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate your email. If you think dating after 30 is bad, wait till dating after 40 and then you can come talk to me. Email me again in 10 more years. But yeah, it's all in what we want, man. It's what we put into it. This guy said he wanted you to meet his dog and then said the dog was his mom. That guy has some mental crises that he probably needs to deal with. But yeah, dating in general is not easy. It does get harder as you get older because we all have skeletons in our closet and we got baggage. We've lived our lives, so we have things. You just have to find the one person's whose luggage or baggage you can handle. Um, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate the email. Hope you continue to listen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. If you haven't, I know a lot of people, there's a lot of interactions from people who are not followers, subscribers of the show. If you take time to listen, hit that like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate you. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. LeBron ain't the GOAT. Javon. I heard your LeBron take a few episodes back. Gotta say, MJ would have eaten that man alive in the 90s. No flopping, no TikTok dances, just straight smoke. Also, bring back the sports segment. Even if you're wrong, it's entertaining. Hey, Javon, appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate the email. I agree. LeBron would have got smoked by MJ back in the 90s. Ain't no doubt in my mind. LeBron's a very gifted athlete, though. I'm not taking anything away from him. My man is still playing ball. He's been playing for a long time. The fact that he can go out there and still do it night in, night out, not taking that away from him. But in my opinion, he's not Michael Jordan, and that's just my opinion. So, Javon, appreciate you listening to the show. Appreciate the email. Let's do one more, man. One more. Let's see. Let's do one more email here. What we got? That's a go. There we go. Tony T-Bone in Richmond. The glory days. Yo, Mike, can we talk about backyard football? I swear kids these days will never know the pain of diving for a pass on a gravel driveway or calling next at a full court when no one's giving up the ball. Bring back the glory days, man. Also, Lakers fan here. Can we please stop acting like this rebuild is working? T-Bone. Tony T-Bone, appreciate the email. Appreciate you listening to the show. Yeah, man, that's a good idea, man. I don't think I've talked about some backyard sports when we were kids and how we played back in the day. That make for a good segment. I have to keep that in mind going forward. Cause yeah, we played a lot. Like I played sports in school, but we played a lot of backyard football, a lot of backyard baseball, basketball. Um, I remember spending like whole days on Saturdays trying to get a game in on a basketball court. They was running full court. Basically, you lose, you off, winner stay up. And man, we'd be there all day shooting ball, playing full court ball. And man, I drive past basketball courts now, and they are empty. There's not a soul there. There's nobody shooting around. Like they built a field house here that's got an indoor basketball court, and you can join as a member. You can pay a drop-in fee, and it'd be crickets on a Friday night, man. Like I don't know what kids do these days. I don't never see kids playing pickup football no more either. We did that a lot. Like on days we had early dismissals or kids were out of school, man, we'd meet up, 10, 15, 20 of us, and we're running, we're playing 10 on 10 tackle football. No pads, no flag. Wasn't no flag football back then, man. It was just straight, just blasting. No rules. Wasn't no holding. We didn't call penalties. We didn't call fouls. Like we played basketball, we didn't call fouls. If you ain't bleeding, you ain't a foul. And yeah, man, I'm gonna work that into a segment next. I think next podcast episode, man, I'm gonna talk about things that we played as children, games we played that aren't really right now. Kids don't play anymore. So Tony T-Bone in Richmond, I appreciate you listening to the show. I appreciate you emailing the show, man. And if you haven't liked, subscribe, follow YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Um, Hey, look, man, I appreciate everybody that tunes in, listens to the show every week. I appreciate y'all letting me be a small part of your life and you guys being a big part of mine. Sorry I was inactive this last week, man. I was, like I said, I was on vacation. I was busy doing things, living life. I live my life, and this is a hobby for me, and it's just a way to me just to talk and communicate and connect with people. Hopefully, bring people some laughs, some joys, some serious moments, maybe help some people get through a tough time. You guys, it helps me get through some tough times. And, I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everybody. Again,
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
like and subscribe, man. If you guys like the show, also email Open Mike Podcast 76 at Outlook.com. I appreciate all the comments, constructive criticisms, um, all the suggestions, everything, man. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody listening to the show. And remember, man, tough times don't last, but tough times don't last, but tough people do. Peace.